Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to talk about something super important. How to go beyond just studying code and actually make that leap, from student to full-fledged developer.
I mean, think about it. In this age of AI and endless tutorials, it's pretty easy to just follow instructions. But how do you build that deep, genuine skill set that really makes you stand out? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down today.
All right, so our first principle is a big one. You have to make coding a part of who you are, part of your identity. It can't just be a subject you study from 9 to 5. It has to become a world you actually live in.
And I absolutely love this quote because it just hits the nail on the head. The most successful developers, the ones who really make an impact, they don't just clock in and clock out. They are totally immersed. And believe me, that changes everything.
Now, what's so cool about this slide is the contrast it shows. You see, a passive learner, they go to class, they do their homework, and that's kind of it. But an immersed coder, well, they fill their entire environment with tech. Instead of scrolling through random social media, they're on Reddit checking out coding discussions. Their YouTube feed, it's jam-packed with tech channels. It's a total fundamental lifestyle shift.
So how do you actually do this? It's really about creating your own little tech ecosystem. You start following blogs, you get on GitHub to see how real projects are actually built, you find local meetups to connect with people who are into the same stuff. And, so important, you start building a portfolio, even if it's small at first, just to showcase your journey.
And you know what happens when you do all this? You get this powerful shift in your mindset. You start looking at problems in your everyday life and thinking, hey, you know what? I could probably build a simple app for that. Programming stops feeling like a chore and just becomes a natural way of thinking.
Okay, so you're immersed. Awesome. But here's the thing. Immersion without any direction can just lead to you feeling totally lost. And that brings us right to our next big idea, building a concrete plan.
And this is such a classic problem, right? There are literally hundreds of languages and frameworks out there. If you just wander from one topic to the next without any kind of map, you're going to end up knowing a tiny bit about everything, but not enough to actually build something significant.
This is where having a roadmap is absolutely essential. And it's a pretty simple 4-step process. First, define your end goal. Be specific, like, I want to become a front-end developer. Then, you break that journey down into manageable stages. And this is crucial. Make sure every single stage ends with a real, hands-on project. And finally, remember that a good plan isn't set in stone. You've got to monitor your progress and be ready to adjust.
And this right here is a perfect illustration of what that looks like in the real world. For a front-end developer, maybe you spend 2 months just on HTML and CSS to build a static portfolio. Great. Then, another 2 months on JavaScript to build a to-do list app. Then you can tackle a framework like React. And, to cap it all off, you build a full project. See? Each step has a clear, tangible outcome. And here's a little bonus that employers absolutely love. When you follow a plan, you're not just learning to code. You're learning how to manage your own work and how to estimate timelines. That's a professional skill that makes you incredibly valuable, even as a junior developer. Okay, let's move on to our final principle, and you'll see how this builds on everything else. So, you've got your plan, but now you face what might be the biggest challenge of all, distraction.
We have got to talk about shiny object syndrome. You know what I'm talking about. It's that constant temptation to drop what you're learning just because some new language or framework is suddenly trending. I'm telling you, it is the #1 killer of progress for people trying to become developers.
Think about it like this for a second. Imagine you're in a field and you need to find water. The only way you're going to succeed is to pick one spot and dig one deep, focused hole.
Because if you go around digging 10 shallow little holes all over the place, you'll do a lot of work for sure, but you'll end up with nothing but a bunch of dirt. Depth, that's what truly matters.
And look, this isn't just some nice metaphor. This has real-world consequences. A study found that developers who focused on really mastering one tech stack got hired way faster than the technology hoppers. The ones who knew a lot of buzzwords but didn't have deep knowledge in any one area. Focus really pays off. So what are the practical steps to stay focused? It's simple, really. First, curate your inputs. Limit your information to just a few sources you really trust. Next, and this is a big one, stop the comparison game. The only person you should be comparing yourself to is the person you were last month. And please, please avoid multitasking your learning. Master one complex skill, then you can move on to the next.
All right, let's bring all of this home. Let's put it all together into your personal blueprint for success.
It really just comes down to these 3 simple but super powerful steps. 1. Immerse yourself in the world of code until it feels like a part of you. 2. Create a detailed, project-based learning plan that will guide your journey. And 3. Maintain a laser-like focus and resist the temptation of all those shiny new objects.
So this isn't just theory, right? This is a real, actionable blueprint. Your blueprint is ready. The only question left is the one right there on the screen. What are you going to build first?